those conditions. Were you guys? I mean, were your hands and feet must have been just so cold at the top. I heard Troy saying it was just brutal until he got on his warm up bike and hopefully got some blood flowing into the socks and shoes and
Yeah.
fingers. You know.
Well, on Q1, it was not too bad because the rain had stopped. So it was like,
Yeah.
it didn't really rain much at Q1. It rained just a little bit. And then in Q2 was raining the whole time. So then you get to the top, you're pretty cold, and you're just trying to warm up. I saw on the race date it was probably even colder because it was snowing more.
It's snowing
I
more.
saw like Ronan Dunn was warming up in the toilets of the building, like literally in the toilet with the door closed. So,
No way.
so I've never seen a warm up bike set up next to a toilet. And I'm like, well, if you can't get warm, it's pretty hard to do a good race. Like, if you go into that start gate with your hands still cold, there's no way you're going to be able to like set off with with you just got like claws. There's no way you can set off and like set the tone for a race run.
No, brutal, man,
Yeah.
brutal, and guys are having brake issues, going to the bar. Obviously, you hit a
Mm.
puddle, it just goes straight on the
Yeah.
rotor, changes the temperature of the pads. Like for everyone at home, it is just
Yeah.
what those guys were able to do is just so impressive, guys and women. Like
Yeah.
Tahnee
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely ripped that course to pieces. Like
Yeah.
talked about her coming
Fully.
into the season. We'll talk later about it in the fantasy little league section, but she's just speaking with confidence. Obviously, a lot of forced like bike time. You know, when you get a new bike, you have to test it, and you want to. Like, there's like an added motivation.
Yeah.
I think she's healthy, mentally strong now. Like she's built back pretty well, and said she's been in your interview. Like, she's been attacking hard and making some mistakes, and she just decided to keep attacking, and hopefully those
Yeah.
mistakes will sort of disappear.
Yeah. I do remember watching a lot of race runs last year when the conditions got bad at the end, and she'd be trying to attack it, and it just wouldn't work. And then this time, she's just attacked it the whole way and made it happen. Like, and I think that's the only way to ride if you want to win in those conditions. She was definitely dealt the toughest conditions out of all the women, and she still won the race, so it's pretty special. And then she had no trouble with vision, but she probably couldn't see anything. Like she only had a marsh guard on her bike. I was like, oh, she's got to have a proper mud guard. She had two marsh guards joined together to make a bigger mud guard, but like those big mud huggers or the bigger mud guards, they do really make a big difference for your vision because it doesn't all come off the front wheel. And she didn't even touch her goggles once. Then you see Valley after her just trying to pull tear offs or roll offs everywhere, and the race is lost at that point. Like you're not even focused on what you're doing. You're more focused on trying to reach that little roll off cord that you never use, other than the 3 races a year when it rains in the race run. So props to Tahnee because she just bombs the whole run with a dirty windscreen.
No, it was
Like,
amazing, man. I mean, that's takes her back, I think, to her younger years in Morzine, down those plennies and stuff. So, so well deserved, and cool that we've got that fire back in her belly. Obviously, Valley just said, look, she didn't have it. And like you say, if you just turn down a notch and you're like 1% conservative to just like, okay, the conditions are treacherous, I'm just going to get down. You can see how she just bled time as the race goes
mhm.
on, and in the mud, one little hesitation and you lose a bit of momentum. It's not half a second you lose. You're going to lose a second, 2 seconds,
Mm.
and we saw it because that's a big time gap. She was back, so yeah, obviously a tough pill to swallow for her. But I think when the conditions are evening out, like she'll be back, as you would think.
And maybe more dangerous now because she's going to be pretty motivated. So I think she's quite dangerous when her back's against the wall a little bit. So the rest of the season she'll be pretty fired up.
No, I couldn't agree more. But I mean, Anna Newkirk, she was impressive the whole week from what I'm hearing, speaking to people on the
Oh
ground.
yeah,
I mean, that's
yeah,
unreal. And her conditions didn't look very great or fun. You could argue
yeah.
Tahney's were worse, I guess. Like, I'm not
hmm
sure what hers were at the start gate,
Less
really. And
snow
like,
for. for Anna at the start. Like it wasn't snowing heavy, so she didn't have
Yeah.
the white start ramp, which probably was nice. I don't imagine it's a great um, motivating factor when you like roll into the start gate and the start ramp's all white and there's
Yeah, I'm
like
not
two
sure
car
it
marks on it.
boosts your confidence much, does it?
No, I don't think so. Don't think that's confidence inspiring.
No, I think like Nina Hoffman and a few others like in the middle there, it just was. I think it was Nina. It was like
Yeah,
white, white, white. I
yeah.
was like,
Gracie probably
dude.
had the most. It was like big flakes coming down.
Yeah, like she looked good on the bike, but
Yeah,
it was just like you're just racing into the wind, basically. You're
yeah,
just
yeah.
going backwards a little bit.
So Anna didn't really have that, but then she all week she was riding so good, and then in her last practice run, I was up in that last shoot, and she was like really committed, really fast. Like
Yes, I
to
saw
not to
that.
not be sexist, some other guys were there, and they were like, "Oh, they thought that was Angel because she came in so hot." They didn't realize that it was Anna. So she just
Yeah,
came in hot, and she leant over in that rut and was like almost on the edge, like completely. The bike elbows were almost down, and just swung it through that rut. And I was like, well, that she's committed. She's on for a good one, like to be that committed in those conditions.
yeah, that's awesome to see her get the support from Nico and factory team, and I mean even his
Yeah,
rig, obviously supported by Fox Clothing.
yeah,
From what I can see, maybe they've brought their rig over, but dude, there's some serious rigs in the pit. So that's nice for her to do that already, like early season. You can join a big team, and you would know that like, there's some subtle expectations. It's not like landing on your shoulders. It's not spoken about, but you
nah,
want to you want to deliver for the new team and all the staff and people
yeah.
helping you.
And even if those expectations are not from the team, they're still within yourself. Like you're like, oh, I can't be here and not do well because you see everyone else in those situations doing so well. So you kind of put the pressure on yourself as well a bit. But she's definitely delivered and lived up to all the expectations, I imagine. And I'm pretty sure Nico's pretty stoked for how his little program is now looking like a big factory team.